Good evening, feeble-minded Earthlings, and welcome to another episode of the Intergalactic Review. My name is Imperial Star Beast, and if you're receiving this transmission, it's because I've taken over your mind and we are now interacting as one. If you're new to the channel, let me tell you a little bit about my operation. As I float stranded in the Outer Rim, I binge watch and review science fiction movies on my 16-inch Sony Television from the backseat of my 1985 Chrysler Lebaron. Before I give my final analysis, I address details like the film's history, production, and special effects. So stick around for my spoiler-free review. My channel discusses modern and classic sci-fi films, as well as animation and TV series, so please subscribe so you can stay updated on my latest work. Tonight I'd like to talk about Jurassic World Dominion. Jurassic World Dominion takes place 4 years after Isla Nublar has been destroyed. Dinosaurs now live and hunt alongside humans all over the world. At the end of Fallen Kingdom, during a Senate hearing, Dr. Malcolm declared the beginning of a neo-Jurassic age, where humans and dinosaurs must coexist.
We're on the verge of extinction.
Humans and dinosaurs can't coexist.
The closing scene depicts the free dinosaurs roaming the wilderness in outer urban areas. This fragile balance will reshape the future and determine once and for all whether human beings are to remain the apex predators on the planet they now share with this history's most fearsome creatures. The film stars an ensemble cast including Bryce Dallas Howard, Laura Dern, Jeff Goldblum, Chris Pratt, Sam Neill, B.D. Wong, Omar Sy, Isabel Sermon, Justice Smith, and Daniela Pineda, and they are joined by Dawanda Wise, Mamoudou Athie, Campbell Scott, Scott Hayes, and Deitchen Leachman. Dominion is a science fiction adventure film directed by Colin Trevorrow, who wrote the screenplay with Emily Carmichael, based on a story by Trevorrow and his writing partner Derek Connolly. It's a sequel to Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom and the 6th installment in the franchise. The film sets out to conclude the storyline that started in the original trilogy. During the production of the previous Jurassic World films, Bryce Dallas Howard kept a list of possible ideas for the final film, including a baby raptor and the underground dinosaur market in Malta. Trevorrow consulted the list while writing the script with Carmichael. As with its predecessors, Frank Marshall and Petra Crowley produced the film with Trevorrow and Steven Spielberg acting as executive producers. The film was planned as early as 2014 as part of the future Jurassic World trilogy. Trevorrow was asked how much planning he put into a trilogy while he was filming Jurassic World in 2014, in which he replied that he knew where the story will end. He said that planning the beginning, middle, and end of the trilogy ahead of time is crucial to a franchise like this if you really want to bring people along with you and make sure they stay interested. It needs to be thought through on that level. The earlier Jurassic Park movies had pretty clear definitive endings. They were much more episodic. The movie was released by Universal Pictures in Mexico City on May 23rd in 2022, and in the United States on June 10th.
Genetic power has now been unleashed.
With a runtime of 2 hours and 26 minutes, it's the longest film in the franchise.
The doomsday clock might be about out of time.
Trevorrow said the third film would be a science thriller, describing it as the film that would most closely match the tone of the first film in the franchise, Jurassic Park. He also said the film would not include hybrid dinosaurs, which had prominent roles in the earlier films. He felt the hybrid dinosaur concept had narrowly run its course.
What is that?
Biggest carnivore the world has ever seen.
Trevorrow said, "I have a dinosaur movie that I've always wanted to see, and it took 2 movies to earn it." He later described the film as a celebration of everything that had existed in the franchise up until now, and considered it somewhat like a spy film, comparing it to the Jason Bourne and James Bond films. The sequel focuses on the dinosaurs that went open source after being sold and spread around the world, allowing people other than Dr. Henry Wu to create their own dinosaurs. The idea of Henry Wu being the only person who knew how to create a dinosaur was far-fetched after 30 years of the technology existing within the film's universe. The film includes a black market sequence in Malta, where dinosaurs were sold and forced into fighting. Trevorrow considered it a departure from the dinosaur auction scene in Fallen Kingdom. The film focuses on the dinosaurs that were freed at the end of Fallen Kingdom, but vaguely depicts dinosaurs terrorizing cities.
The first time you saw a dinosaur?
an idea that Trevorrow considered unrealistic. Instead, he described a world where dinosaurs might run out in front of your car on a foggy back road, or invade your campground looking for food. A world where dinosaur interaction is unlikely but possible, the same way we watch out for bears or sharks. Mankind hunts exotic animals, traffics them, and breeds them. We've invaded their territory and paid the price. Trevorrow said his goal with the Jurassic World trilogy was to have Claire's line from the first film, "No one is impressed by a dinosaur anymore," to be proven false in the final film. The film centers around Owen and Claire's redemption and their responsibility to take care of Maisie, a clone girl from the previous film. In September of 2019, Neil, Dern, and Goldblum were confirmed to be returning for the film in major roles. Dominion will mark the original trio's first film appearance together since Jurassic Park. While Goldblum and Neil had both starred in their own Jurassic Park sequels, Trevorrow considered Dominion to be Dern's film, noting that the plot is partially driven by her character. Great care was put into working with the three original actors to ensure their characters are portrayed accurately. The film answered questions about these beloved characters, such as, who are these people now? What do they make of the new world they're living in? And how do they feel about being part of its history? According to Trevorrow, striking a balance of screen time for the trio and the newer characters was the most difficult aspect of developing the film's story. Filming began in Canada in February of 2020 and moved to other locations in England the following month. The production was suspended in March due to the COVID-19 global pandemic, but resumed in July and concluded 4 months later in November with filming locations that included England's Pinewood Studios and the country of Malta. After filming concluded, Trevorrow worked on the film in a barn behind his UK house that had been converted into a post-production facility. The film's release had previously been delayed by a year due to the pandemic, and this allowed Trevorrow time to work on visual effects, sound mixing, and scoring as separate processes, unlike most films. As visual effects were almost done, Trevorrow screened the near-finished film for friends and Jurassic Park fans to get feedback and make any necessary improvements. He said that it was a much more involved process with the audience this time. The film uses more animatronic dinosaurs than the previous Jurassic World films. Approximately 18 animatronics of varying sizes were created for the film by designer John Nolan. As with all the previous films, Industrial Light and Magic also worked on CGI versions of the animals with the help of paleontologist Steve Rosetta, the science consultant for the film. Jurassic Park 3 had featured velociraptors with quills along the head, but Dominion, along with a 5-minute prologue, introduces the first fully feathered dinosaurs to the series. The film's dinosaur antagonist is a Giganotosaurus, which Trevorrow saved for the trilogy's final installment to set up a rivalry with the T-Rex. An animatronic Giganotosaurus was created, and like the T-Rex in the original Jurassic Park, Nolan said it was probably the biggest challenge for his team. The dinosaur was expected to take 6 months to build, but his team only had 4 months to finish it. The end result was magical. Trevorrow's efforts to emphasize a focus back on the animatronics give the film a classic movie feel, linking the final installment back to the first, one that's only achieved by the wonderful designers at ILM. John Schwartzman is the film's cinematographer, returning to the position after working with Trevorrow on the first Jurassic World film. The film had a budget of $165 million. Schwartzman shot the movie with a combination of 35mm film, 65mm film, and VistaVision. The film was shot under the working title Arcadia, which is the name of the ship that transported dinosaurs to the United States mainland in the previous film. The film takes you to environments no other Jurassic film has taken you to. The streets of Malta is a beautiful location, and a memorable one to this installment. This sequence was full-throttle dinosaur terror. There were so many moving pieces that had to play out with perfect timing in order for it to hold the suspense, and it does. The film's musical score was composed by Michael Giacchino, who scored the previous Jurassic World films. The score was recorded at England's Abbey Road studio over a 10-day period concluding in May of 2021. The musical score is bold and thrilling throughout the movie, with Giacchino sporadically teasing the Jurassic World theme every now and then, but he shows restraint and holds off until the end scene to finally let it flow with all its emotion and excitement. There was one or two times I heard a line of John Williams' original theme when cast from the original trilogy were introduced. The score bounces around with magic and wonder to full-on action thriller. This is one of those films you must see in the theater. You can tell Trevorrow had more time to work on the audio engineering. The sound effects are fantastic, and there were many times I wanted to turn around because of something interesting I heard off screen. Regarding the realism of the film's story, Trevorrow said the dinosaurs would not be everywhere all the time. For inspiration, he watched episodes of Planet Earth as well as certain alien invasion films told from a realistic perspective. He stated that any kind of global acceptance that they are just around doesn't feel real to me. Even now, when you think of animals, when was the last time you saw a tiger walking down the street? It's very important that we keep this grounded in the context of our relationship with wild animals today. This grounds the film in our world the way no other previous installment in the franchise has done before. We're finally off the island, and now we get to experience cohabitation with dinosaurs that haven't walked the Earth in over 65 million years. Trevorrow has dared to give us a Jurassic movie that's familiar, but one we've never seen before. His ambitions have paid off. Dominion is every bit a science fiction thriller that plays out like an action-adventure film, giving legacy characters the time to shine alongside their modern counterparts. The film steps on the gas right out of the gate and becomes one dinosaur nightmare after another, weaving each legacy character tightly into the new storyline like they were meant to be there all along. This movie takes you to fun and exciting places. You really feel like Trevorrow set out to make an epic conclusion to a franchise that's had its ups and downs. Relying on a lot of in-camera effects, more so than other Jurassic World installments, made the film feel like classic Hollywood from the 90s. You may remember the time where entertainment was just that. The cinematography was big and bold, the dialogue made you laugh and feel good, effects left you in wonderment, all without pushing a narrative that takes away from being entertained. Dominion's mixture of puppetry and CGI made the world feel tangible. It's a thrill ride that's full of the same dinosaur magic that made the original film feel so alive. The heartwarming moments are earned, Malcolm's witty personalities on full display, and the legacy characters have closure. This film is tense, it's smart, and it's fun for the whole family. Don't listen to the critics. This film is exactly what the original film set out to do in 1993. Entertain you. It's classic Hollywood at its finest, and I love it. This is the Jurassic movie you didn't know you wanted, but now can't live without. For these reasons, I give Jurassic World Dominion an A. Thank you for participating, and please stay tuned for more sci-fi movie reviews. Until then, drop me a comment below and tell me about your favorite part of Jurassic World Dominion. Did you think the film was a worthy closure to the original storyline from 1993? As always, like, comment, and subscribe, because this transmission may be the only one you hear from space.